EA Sports just dropped the early look gameplay for College Football 26. It's a game between Ryan Williams and YouTuber Bordeaux. They played a couple of games down at EA, I guess a week or so ago, so they put the clips on YouTube, and we're going to kind of break it down. Here we could see showing a little bit of the Alabama run out really quickly, and then they hop into the game. So I'll be commenting over it, giving my thoughts. For certain parts, I'll let the developer speak because during this video, he kind of breaks down some of the new features and stuff in the game. So for those segments, I'll just let him explain it as he's doing in the video, but everything else, I'll just kind of comment over. Also, I will be having my own exclusive gameplay very soon, so make sure to subscribe, turn the bell icon on. I got a ton of great stuff coming later this week that you're not going to want to miss. So here we're just seeing them kind of airing the ball out a little bit. We know it's going to still be an offensive game. Here, Bordeaux with the actual really good bait on defense, and you're going to have to kind of be better with that this year because it's not going to be easy to get interceptions if your back is turned. The CPU won't do it at all, and even as a user, I've found that it's kind of hard to get interceptions if your back's turned. You kind of have to get them turned around in order to get the ball. Here you could see going for the SWAT, and he actually bats it into the arms of his other defender. I do think the SWAT button is going to be a much bigger deal this year in the game, just because there's going to be situations where those picks just aren't as guaranteed as in the past. So those deep one-on-ones, you're going to want to go for a SWAT over a pick, in my opinion. Here, we could see Bordeaux with Tennessee trying to get the option going. It worked earlier, but they're good gap integrity as they shut it down. They did do a lot of work with run defense and making sure that the gap integrity was more sound this year. So you're going to be able to defend some of that outside stuff a little easier than you could last year if you're playing the right defense versus it. If you're not, you could still get cooked. And here, what a dime from Ryan Williams for the touchdown.
Am I crazy, OG? Do we got some new celebrations into the game? A new way to flex on your opponents a little bit?
Absolutely. Within the rules of college
football.
Don't
tell Coach because I don't know if he wants to see it. He wants you guys to come back to the sideline. You got to keep talking.
Yeah, Ryan came in down to the studio, so we got his stuff.
That's why I got to score. You got to let me score.
The 2-point conversion.
But absolutely. The same, we got 20. We kept some of the ones that they really loved.
Here we got Bordeaux back on offense, taking a deep shot, and he's going to lay out for it.
Some of these throwing motions, some of these, like the little animations that maybe you wouldn't notice, but when you compare side by side 25 to 26, you guys put a lot of work into these animations.
I love that you noticed that, and I think when you talk about the quarterback position, it's the iconic position in sports. You know, we called it quarterback revamp. And so everything from an over the top to three-quarter to low three-quarter, it was pivotal that we made these look better. It had to look beautiful. It is the iconic position. So then that also takes in context, right? So that's throwing on the run, throwing screen passes, throwing under duress.
And I really love the work they did with QBs this year. They did the same thing for Madden as well, but now the QBs, they just throw the ball more realistically. The releases and the different types of releases, types of throws they could do from sidearm to over the top, they just look a lot more realistic this year, and I think that's really cool. Bad throw there from Ryan Williams. I don't think he meant to lob it, but that's going to be a pick six because of the bad pass.
We haven't touched on this yet, but talk to me a little bit about how quarterback height impacts your gameplay.
More than it's ever. So everybody kept talking about, one, the games that were played up front, right, which we didn't have, which is stunts and twists. And it was getting the guy, what they would call, or some would call, getting him off his launching point. And then depending on size, how they collapse the pocket, we've never had that before. So now, if you got a 5'10" quarterback and a 6'6", guard, right, you got to throw in throwing lanes or work to throw those. And so now, if you're trying to throw that, 5-yard, drag over the middle and you're in sight line, now that's going to hit your accuracy.
Here we got Ryan Williams taking a deep shot. Bad defense by Bordeaux. He's chasing, but you just can't keep up with the speed of a guy like Ryan Williams.
Changes I do love that you guys made this year was how cornerbacks play wide receivers, the need for you to get your eyes around to a football to make a pick.
We coined it no eyes, no picks. That was it, especially like if you're throwing a 9 route or that go route. You get the hips turned of a DB, you want to be able to throw that shot now. Where before, it's like unless he had a significant speed advantage, you wouldn't want to throw that ball. And then to your point, that's why we coined the Willie Mays picks. And so we wanted to make those seam shots, those hole shots that you can now throw back shoulders, be more of a problem for the defense to handle.
Here we got Bordeaux calling some hot routes. The blitz is coming. He does not set up proper protection, and he gets annihilated.
So made no protection call, didn't slide it. You can change that now on the right stick. Flick right for a half slide right, or double tap for a full slide.
And Ryan Williams is going to wind it up. Another deep shot. Bordeaux couldn't get over there. Bad defense. You're seeing a lot of deep shots in this video. Something that was big last year. I mean, it's college football. You're going to still be able to take the deep shots this year, but the big difference is the fact that you can't really get those interceptions with your back turn, you can feel more confident taking those deep shots even when the coverage is a little tighter. And until people learn to go for those swats, you're going to get beat deep if you don't have the proper defense out there. And here we're seeing some picks go back and forth, both sides of the ball. I mean, Bordeaux throwing another pick. We know he likes to throw picks. That's my guy. But, you know, he has a quick trigger with that quarterback. Sometimes you just got to know when to hold it and not force it into coverage. And here Ryan Williams is going to score another touchdown, taking the lead. Now we're jumping into game 2 that they played. This one they got Florida State going against Alabama. So we'll see if Bordeaux does better in this game. Going for the jet sweep, gets taken out. I did a video yesterday talking about this. The gap integrity is better this year. These jet sweeps, not as easy as before.
Defending plays like jet sweeps were kind of a pain point. They were hard to stop last year. Is that something that players are going to notice a difference in this year?
Absolutely. We've done a lot there. All new coaching adjustments, but our run fits, again, we brought in a lot, put in a ton of time and effort into that, and coverage in particular. And so things that should be stopped are stopped, you know, authentically.
So yeah, they did a lot of good work this year in the trenches and the gap integrity, the run fits, all of that stuff. And you're going to find that, you know, just trying to spam the jet sweeps or even options sometimes to the outside, they're not just going to be gimmies like they were last year. They're going to work when they're supposed to work, at least most of the time. But there's going to be a lot of times where they're not going to work so easily. And that was just a filthy juke move. I mean, come on, Bordeaux. I need you to make the tackle there. That was absolutely filthy. They had to put it on a replay because, I mean, I've gotten done like this a bunch of times last year, so I can't knock them.
Can you go into the coach adjustments? Because we got some new coach adjustments, especially defensively this year. If you scroll down there, you've got different ways to play the option. You got different ways to play the RPO. And then what I love is down at the very bottom, different ways to line up your safeties. So if you're getting run on, you can bring those safeties down into the box.
I love it. This is one of my favorite features in the game. This is a real life, but you have like the flat alignment that I know Venables was really keen on back in his Clemson days, run some of it in Oklahoma. You can bring your safeties up in the box now. You can set them 30 yards back. You can move them to the field. You can move them to the boundary. You can move them wide. You can keep them tight. And then when you go into coach adjustments, all you got to do is press L3 and you go back to your default settings.
Ryan Williams takes the snap here. He's been dialing up some big plays, and it looks like he's going for another one. That's another touchdown. He's using the revamped passing, which I think is the best system. It's the one I use. There are other ones that other people use, but I think you're going to get the best trajectories with this system. This is how you want the ball to float. This is how you want to be able to put it over defenders, and you can do that easily with that system. So that's what I like to use, and it makes sense that he's using it. Now they're bringing up the auto subs here. Because of the wear and tear, you can kind of monitor that through your subs, and you can sub your guys out on the fly. You can also reset it with one button press, which is cool as well. One of my favorite new additions to the game this year. Just makes substituting your players in and out a lot easier.
So for stunts and twists, you can take any play, and then you just hold down that play call. That's it. So if it's 2-man under, say it's square, you just hold it, you'll get a drop-down menu, and you can pick from maybe like the 12 or whatever is applicable to that front. Right, not all of them have that basically full coverage in that way because you're going to maybe have more
any
with
play,
four.
I'm going to be able to add some stunts and twists and change how my D-line creates pressure.
Absolutely, and then if you don't feel comfortable there or you want to call it in pre-play, it's in the pre-play menu as well, which is awesome.
I'm curious to see how the stunts and twists are going to play out this year. I'm hoping nobody finds anything too crazy with them, but who knows? I mean, we'll have to see how it plays out. Here's another deep shot, and it's Ryan Williams himself again. I mean, I don't know. Bordeaux's just playing really aggressive defense. He's not really getting his guys back there, and that's a huge play.
Which talks about some of those new animations we have for mid-air tackles. You talk about some of those catch point animation, some of those hit sticks through
Absolutely.
the catch.
Adding more coverage there, more control. Control is number one with everything that we do. And then when it comes to hit sticks and wear and tear, now there's damage to the defensive player when he misses a hit stick or gets blown up.
And that's really another thing about the game that's going to stand out. I think the quarterback stuff for me is the stuff that stands out the most, the way they throw the ball, the releases and stuff like that. But the tackling, the more physics that were added this year, you're going to see it. A lot of bigger hits, a lot of mid-air hits and things like that. I mean, man, he's getting crazy here on offense, Bordeaux, but he throws a pick again. Like I said, he's just too trigger happy sometimes. Sometimes you got to know when to not force the pass. He made a crazy play, made the defender miss, and threw the pick. But we'll see if he can make a comeback. It looks like it's 21-16. Ryan Williams with the ball rolling out. He's trying to make a big play, and he's going to throw a pick. Bordeaux gets one back, pulls off the spin move. That's his specialty. I've played Bordeaux a bunch of times. That guy likes to spin. What a pick six, and now he's bringing the heat.
That, I love that. That is one of the new animations. That's one that the ball would kind of just fall into the ground before the quarterback actually held on through that tackle.
Yes, all of those, right? That exactly it would have hit right there, but now those things can be picked, and a lot of times they'll just eat it.
Bordeaux might get him a dub here, but he is pressing. I don't think he meant to press here. He's getting back, and he gets beat over the top. Again, we've seen so many deep shots. I think a lot of people are going to like this. Some people might not, but those one-on-ones, you can get them this year. If you get just a little bit of space, and there's a dot from Ryan Williams for a touchdown. But again, if you get space, because you can't get those basket interceptions, if you don't go for the swat or get in range to swat, you can make those plays this year. So it looks like it's going to be another offensive game for sure. But the defensive upgrades, I think, are going to help with some of the annoying things like the jet sweeps and stuff that were just too easy to run. You're going to be able to control those more this year. But if you're not on point with your secondary, having them where they need to be, you're going to get beat over the top. Now, if you want to know more about these new gameplay mechanics and how they work, make sure to check out this video right here on the screen.